Hello, we are the Team 4, made of Elian y Gabriela, Daniel Emiliano, Karina Abigail, Manuel Alejandro, Verónica Martínez, Andrés Eduardo, and me, Ariel Omar. Introduction. With a rate of 24.8 homicides per 1,000 inhabitants, Mexico ranks 12th of the most violent countries worldwide, according to the 2019 Global Homicide Study of the United Nations Information Center, ONU. Besides like Puerto Rico, the Philippines, and even Afghanistan. The Secretary of Security expressed concern about the increase in organized crime, which increased by 53.8% from 80 in 2019 to 1,023 in 2020.
The report passerby robbery in Mexico City went from first place to second nationally. The rate decreases by 29.8% compared to the same period in 2019. According to OpenUQs, the crime was mainly committed in transport, of which 15% were assault in collective transport and 3% in individual transport. According to OpenUQs, the crime was mainly committed in transport, of which 15% were assault in collective transport and 3% in individual transport. Most of the victims who were in individual transport did suffer violence during the 58.1% assault, in contrast to the victims who used collective transport, who almost suffered violence 67.4%. The majority that has the greatest decrease was Cuauhtemoc with minus 67.2%, followed by Milpa Alta 17% and Iztacalco 65.6%. The colonies that searched the most investigate folders for robbery of passers by were Centro in Cuauhtemoc 104 CI and Tacubaya in Miguel Hidalgo 33 CI. 36.7% of passerby deaths occurred during the afternoon and 29.1% overnight.
Homicide. In 2019, 36,476 homicides were committed in the country, and for the first time in the last 5 years, there had been an annual decrease in violent deaths when 200 fewer murders were recorded in the previous year, according to preliminary data from INEGI. A total of 2,973 deaths from intentional homicide were recorded in August, while in the same month of 2019 their figure was 2,953 according to the figures from the Executive Secretariat of the National Public Security System, SESNSB. With these figures, some 95 intentional homicides were recorded daily during August.
Kidnappings. Mexico City ranked 11th in the national rankings with a rate of 0.17 research folders per 100,000 inhabitants. The abduction rate of the common and federal decreased by 65% compared to the second quarter of 2019. Most of the common kidnappings victims were older men. They account for 61.5% of the 13 victims reported in the second quarter of 2020. The mayoralty that had the highest rate of kidnapping was Miguel Hidalgo with 0.53 IQ for every 100,000 inhabitants, followed by Azcapotzalco 0.50 and Tláhuac 0.27. The mayoralties that had the greatest decrease were Álvaro Obregón, Benito Juárez, Coajimalpa de Morelos, and Milpa Alta, with less than 100%. 25% of the registered abductions happened on Sunday. 33.3% of the abductions occurred overnight.
Mexico City ranked 14th in the national rankings with a rate of 0.21 research folder per 100,000 inhabitants. The reported IQ rate has increased since the start of Claudia Sheinbaum administration. It reached its all-time high in 2019, under the administration of the same head of government. The trend indicates that the femicide rates remain high. In the second quarter of 2020, there was 110% increase between IQs in sequential killings of women and IQ of femicides. During this period, 21 victims of intentional killings of women and 20 IQs of femicide were reported. The mayoralty that has the highest femicide rate in the second quarter of 2020 was Coajimalpa de Morelos, with a 0.52 IQ per 100,000 inhabitants, followed by Venustiano Carranza and Tlalpan. Reported femicides increased by 4 of the 16 mayoralties.
Solution. Finding a solution to combat crime in Mexico is not an easy thing, and that is why it is necessary to participate the city and the population to improve and reduce crime in society, and that is why this proposal have occurred. Having a new police model, citizen participation, raising public awareness of these crimes, new citizen security systems, better connected neighborhood act against crime.